day. My name is Murray Ward. I'm an employee from Foresight Consultants. I'm an RPF, and I've been with Foresight since 1996. The purpose of this video is to give you a quick background into some of the things Foresight does, some of the people that work at Foresight, and what to expect if you're a new employee at Foresight. Foresight is a privately owned business that was established in 1987. We're made up of people, not logging equipment, bulldozers, excavators, logging trucks. It's people-based business. We have locations throughout Western Canada, primarily in BC. Our head office is in Salmon Arm, BC. And I'll show you later on where we're recruiting for. We also have offices in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, and Edmonton, Alberta. Foresight structured in business units, so we can manage a smaller unit more efficiently than the overall large company as one. There's a Southern Interior Forest Operations Group, a Northern Interior Forest Operations Group, Resource Management Technology Group, and a Coastal Forest Operations Group. Foresight's proud to have several members that are within the Association of BC Forest Professionals. I'm an RPF since 2001, and you'll see later on that we have quite a vast variety of experience levels at Foresight. The types of things that we expect new staff or student staff to do are work in the field with other senior forest specialists, doing things like timber recce, field engineering or timber layout, resource assessments such as stream classifications, wetland classifications, identifying high-value wildlife areas, visual impacts, and other ecological assessments such as site plan data collection. We do timber cruising, which is measurements, operational planning, such as harvest plans, how to get the wood out if you do lay out a cut block or you do propose a new road to be built. Silviculture, so how to get the new forest growing after harvest or after a disturbance such as a fire. Our RMT group does things like timber supply analysis, forest stewardship plans, and license management. As mentioned, we are a people-based business. You don't see any large equipment in these slides. We focus on the people at Foresight. These are some typical daily activities forest technicians could do. At Foresight, one of the things that we look for new staff and new potential long-term career employees is their attitude and their passion for forestry, or what they do in forestry in their specialization. We have found that people that aren't committed, they don't know what they want to be when they grow up, typically don't show that passion for the work that they do, and usually they're a short-term employee. The ones that show the exceptional passion, they love being outside, they love the forest, camping on the weekends, things like that. Those are the people that we're really focused in on. It's important that you can work efficiently and safely. You'll do fun and exciting things. Forestry is renewable. It's a renewable resource, so that's one thing that is important to most of the people that work here. As mentioned, we're a private company and we continue to grow and develop careers for our staff. And there's always something new and different every day. These photos just show a few examples of the types of terrain and forests that you could be in. On the left is a silviculture crew. On the right, in the upper right, is a fairly incised stream draw, and then not sure what the person buried in the snow is looking for, but they really want to find it. Types of things to expect are you will get wet and you will get cold. You'll see places that you've never been to, maybe no one has ever been to, and you'll do things that you've never done before. The people at Foresight are great. We have a huge variety of ages and experience levels at Foresight. I always say that someone at Foresight knows the answer to your question. It might not be myself or who you're working with for the day, but someone will know, and it's a very open and casual experience at Foresight, and everyone is here to help each other move on and experience new things. And sometimes you can't do everything yourself, so the best way to learn is through others' experiences, and we have that at Foresight. There are days where you may wonder what you get yourself into. As you see on the bottom right, there's some fairly large animal tracks next to that book. Foresight tries to stay on top of new technology in the forest industry. For new field staff, some of the things we use are GPS, iPads for data collection, and all sorts of different kind of data collection devices. The bottom right screen is an example of how LiDAR can be used. Each color there is a different tree species, and it's pretty amazing on how you can develop tree species and volumes just based on some dots. Here's another example of a few LiDAR products. The 3D point cloud shows images of a stand. The more points you gather, the better the image can be. Bare Earth Hillshade is a real neat one that I use quite often. It shows distinctly what the ground looks like when the trees are removed, and you can see how useful that might be when you're laying out a road or a cut block edge or something like that. And then as well, the canopy height model is another common one that I've used in forest development. It shows basically height is very closely correlated to volume, so the taller the trees, the better. And it shows you how you could target those certain areas and retain the shorter trees for maybe a future pass. Foresight is SAFE certified with the BC Forest Safety Council. We have a health and safety program. Foresight does a new employee orientation for all new staff or returning staff. And the purpose of that new employee orientation that happens on your first day generally is as much for you to get to know Foresight and some of the safety aspects of the work, as well as Foresight getting to know you and what experiences you've had and what limitations you may have. We follow up our safety orientations by observing in the woods as well, because when people rank themselves, sometimes they just don't recognize the level of difficulty that some things can be. You may believe that you're a great ATV rider, but maybe you've only ever ridden on roads, and then you get into forest where there aren't any roads and you need to navigate over pretty tough obstacles. It can be quite challenging. So we observe and train where required. We've placed a very we've always had a large emphasis on safety, but we've increased that over the last year or so. Just trying to improve. It can be quite tough walking around in the bush, and just having safety in the forefront of everyone's mind has been a goal of ours. Working at Foresight can be very physically demanding. Can be very steep or brushy or snowy, wet. The job is challenging. It's probably a lot. If you haven't worked in the forest before, I'd almost guarantee you that it's harder work than you would ever think. It's not just hiking. It's climbing. It's running sometimes. It's jumping. And when you're climbing a mountain to get to work in the morning, and that's just to get to work, you can be quite tired. You'll be tired every day after work. As mentioned, Foresight has offices all over BC, and here's a list of a few places that we are looking to hire for. Fort St. John, Salmon Arm, which is our head office, Mackenzie, Kamloops, Smithers, Prince George, Fort St. James, 100 Mile House, Campbell River, potentially Williams Lake as well. We're open to 4 and 8 month terms, or 12 months as well, and we've had quite a lot of success hiring previous students as full-time staff who make careers at Foresight. I am one of those people. Here's a couple slides that just show some of the longer term or more experienced people at Foresight. Cam Brown has been with Foresight since 2003, and he's leader of the Resource Management and Technology Group, and he's also a shareholder at Foresight. Colin Hegan, who I graduated university with, has been at Foresight since 2005, and he's recognized as a provincial silviculture expert. The slide says he coordinated up to 8 million trees getting planted last summer, but it actually, I think he did closer to 12 million. So you can understand that Foresight has a huge role in the province when it comes to reforestation. Michael Chuby is the lead person on our LiDAR end of things. He uses state-of-the-art techniques for image, LiDAR, spatial analysis. He's within the Resource Management Group. Sarah Egger is part of the Southern Interior Forest Operations Group. She started as receiving her forest technician diploma at Selkirk College, and then she earned her RPF after graduating at UBC while she was at Foresight, and now she's in Salmon Arm. Rob Kennett, strategic planning forester, shows his extensive forestry experience, and he's within the Resource Management Group, as well as Patrick Bryant, another strategic planning forester, and he joined Foresight in 2010 after 20 years with industry. So it goes to show what I mentioned before, someone will know the answer to your question. Cosman Mann as well, he's a forest analyst with the Forest Management Technology Group in Salmon Arm. He was also a teacher at UBC and instructor who taught the Sustainable Forest Management course, and it shows a few of his sample projects lower down in the slide. Thank you for your interest at Foresight. I encourage you to check out our website at www.foresight.ca. Foresight provides very rewarding careers for staff, and as mentioned near the beginning, we're a people-oriented business, private industry with a huge assortment of experience levels and project experience throughout the company. Thank you. Have a good day.